Specialist.io.
Hello everyone, welcome to the latest episode of You Deserve Fresh Lettuce. I am your co-host Rachel.
And I'm Delia.
And today we are talking about insecurities. Oh my gosh, we're going to really unpack this whole thing. Listen, don't forget to follow us on social media at YDFL Podcast. If you're listening to us on one of your favorite platforms, don't forget you can also watch the shenanigans on YouTube.
Share, listen, share with your friends,
subscribe. And you can also ask Alexa to play the latest episodes
of You Deserve Fresh Lettuce podcast.
Start from season 1.
Yeah,
to see our
pretty
progression.
interesting. Yeah, we've come a long way.
Bad audio and all, but it's worth it.
Here
the
we
messages are good. Okay, insecurities. This is something that if you really want to talk about what we talk about probably the most off camera,
right?
It's the insecurity. Fellas, we are about to talk about you in a really interesting way. If you're listening, ladies, you're probably going to be like, oh, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You want to lead the way? You want me to? What do you want to do?
So yeah, no, for sure. So we talk about this quite a bit, and I think a lot of the time we don't really pinpoint the insecurity of the person that you're with until you do the actual unpacking, because that's like the word of the day. That's like what we always use, the unpacking part of it. Meaning, if they know that you've maybe dated someone or you were married or whatever it is, you know, they're insecure possibly about their weight, their height, their girth, their width, their length, their penis. They're insecure about the way they live, the amount of money they make, the car they drive. I mean, we can literally go down a list, and I have to say that, you know, if I'm going to say that about the men, I can say that there's that going on with women also. It also mirrors women back. But a lot of the time, you know, you don't really know why a man's acting a certain way until you actually do the breakdown, and you're like, this is coming from a place of insecurity.
It is.
And that's literally what it is. And it's not until you actually, you know, break it down, like, why is he so insecure about, you know, his penis size? Why is he insecure about his physique? Why is he insecure about where he lives?
So let's talk about the penis and the body parts.
Yes.
Because sometimes when we're having this dialogue, Di and I, it's like, oh, you know, he seems really concerned or really concerned about my opinion. So I get torn between, is he fishing for compliments?
Yes.
Or is he truly insecure? Maybe a little bit of both.
Right. Could be both.
So let's give an example. If he's like, so, you know, do you feel like I'm a good size? Like if he's
Am I good enough for you?
Is he trying to find a thing relating to the size of his penis? Okay.
Right.
Part of him could be fishing for the compliment to be like, oh my God, babe, you are like so big.
Right.
But the other part could be a little bit insecure if he knows who your exes are.
Right.
Or anything like that.
Right. I've experienced things like, you know, with people that I've talked to where maybe the one particular person has been with her fair share of men, and he wants to know exactly how these men after, where, when, how, why, how big, how you know, how fast it took her to, like, you know, finish.
Oh, I have to jump in right here.
Yeah.
This is a real thing.
Yeah.
This whole thing.
Literally, insecurity.
You and I haven't actually talked about this part.
Okay, I want to hear about it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is live. Let's do it.
Yeah, this is good. This is good because I actually have had somebody want to know that as well.
Right.
And what's odd about it is, I don't think that's insecurity, which, by the way, ladies, if a guy is asking you what you experienced with your past lover, I would right now immediately say, do not share that information.
Right.
Number one. And number two, I think they could have a little bit of a fetish. There could be a little kink there of wanting to imagine you with other guys.
Ooh.
There's an actual kink. It took me forever to catch on, but there's an actual kink where they would probably love to see you getting done, so to speak, and then they could watch. There's
got it. But would that kind of correlate with maybe someone trying to tap into the possibility of like switching partners, kind of swingers, kind of threesomes? I'm curious because I mean, from the person that I had spoken with, it wasn't coming from, in my opinion, from a place of it would be really kinky to see her, you know, get screwed by another
They're
guy.
not going to reveal that.
Right. But he really wanted to know, like, how long did it take you to finish? How many times did you guys have sex? How many this? How many? Because it's one thing to ask a question and be inquisitive. It's another thing to, like, actually want to get the breakdown.
Like to open up the Excel document
and be like, okay, well, why
23rd.
was he, and how old was he, and why were you with an older man, and why were you with a younger guy, and why were, and there's so many questions that come, and, that come with that question. And I think if I really, give the breakdown, I think it's an insecurity. It's an insecurity on a man, in my opinion. I think a man's insecure. And, that's
also, he's building a profile on you.
Possibly, too. And then he's going to throw it in your face.
Yeah.
I know I've dated guys also, like, kind of veering away from, like, the whole penis size. And, he was trying to get, like, a nicer, faster, higher-end car. And he's like, is this going to be good enough for you? And I'm like, well, if it's good enough for you, it should be good enough for me. I mean, I'm not the one driving it, and I'm not the one making the payments. So sometimes I think that some people come from a place of insecurity to think maybe she would like me more or acknowledge me more. And I think at the end of the day, you have to really get the breakdown on, like, why is he coming from that place of, would I like him more if he had a faster car?
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Well, so here's the thing. If we go all the way back to, like, little boys, they want to do things to impress the girls, right?
Of course.
If you then kind of get a little bit older, they want to dress a certain way or have the chain or the watch, and then
the things,
and then as they get older, it's the other things. And so I
Right.
think that boys don't really change in that regard. I think if they really like a girl, they're going to try to identify the things that kind of make her tick, and
Right.
then they're going to go and do those things. The fact that he's bringing it up, I think if any guy brings up, like, if I got, a Ferrari instead of a Audi, do you think that would be good for you? That's a weird thing to mention. Now, if he's thinking it,
That's one thing.
I could see him going, hey, babe, let's go on Sunday to Newport Beach and let's go check out the car dealerships.
Right.
Until you go, ooh, I love that car.
Right.
And then a month later he pulls up in it. Then that's different because that's his own process of trying to impress you.
But when it's coming from a place of, is this going to make you like me more?
Oh my gosh.
I think that's one thing. And
Yes.
then, there's just so many layers to this onion, in my opinion.
Oh my God, there is. It's like I'm in my mind going, oh my God, there's just so much. I'm like trying not to choke because of something you had said earlier, but I'm like, oh man, there's a lot.
There's a lot to unpack. And I also have noticed that now when it comes to insecurity, sometimes, like, if a man's a little bit shorter, then they have a little bit more to prove. I've heard that.
Oh, for sure.
So that's like the Napoleon, what is it?
The short guys, Napoleon complex. The short guys
yeah.
are usually going to bring it in the bedroom. They are going to make up for it. So if you see a tall, attractive girl and she's with a short guy, you best believe there's something that they're working out in the bedroom.
You think so?
Yeah.
All the time?
I would say a great, like you alluded to it just now. So like I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
I think that a good percentage of the time that's
well, they
happening.
do have a little bit more to prove, and I've heard that shorter men have a tendency to be more successful because they have to show up that much more than a tall man, where a tall man just kind of everything just flocks to them. And I think that that's obviously an insecurity that kind of shows. I've also met and known guys that are like buff, good looking, tall, all the things that you would think, and they're probably some of the most insecure men I've ever met. Oh. And it goes without saying that women, we are the same way. We're conditioned in the same way, in my opinion. Like, some of the most beautiful women they're just the most insecure about everything, from their body, their hair, their complexion, their physique, everything.
If they're getting, you're getting plastic surgery, I know we've talked about this before, that's because you're insecure about how you're born and you are making a modification.
Right.
You got to live in the gym because you're going to feel some kind of way if you don't. That's an insecurity. That's not the whole,
well, I mean,
I want to feel proud.
For the record, I do work out like every day, but
there's like a health benefit.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's more like my sanity. But I don't know, maybe I can lead with insecurity. I know that some guys, 6-pack, 8-pack,
they're gonna
completely
still,
ripped, completely good looking,
but going
and
off of what you're saying,
so true.
Going off of what you're
so
saying,
true.
I'm like agreeing with you because I know for a fact that like seeing people that live at the gym or whatever, there's something there, and it's not just I just want to feel good. No, there's something there that's being compensated for.
And then going to the gym, about the gym thing, there is a place of like people that go to the gym, and then there's people that are obsessive with the gym.
Yep.
And now when you've gone, okay, I'm going to the gym just to stay healthy, listen to music, blah blah blah. Okay, that's great. And then now you cross the road on the like just going hardcore, going to the gym. Now I think those are the people that are like hyper focusing
Yep.
on the things that they can't necessarily modify or change at the gym. So maybe they will go have plastic surgery.
yeah.
And now the things that they hyper focus on are the things that they're trying to have surgery, are the things that they are very insecure
Or they don't
about.
feel good about themselves unless
Exactly.
certain things are showing up in the body and so we
that's
all have it. So
Yeah, we
women
all do.
have it. There's women that they don't want to go to the gym at all, but they don't like the body, so they go to the knife. Like there's all these things.
There's
but
so
with
many things.
men, oh boy, the way it shows up, the insecurity is so massive in so many men. Fellas, if you're watching this at 15 and you do any of these things, let me tell you, women are becoming very aware that you're
Right.
coming from a place of insecurity. Like, first and foremost, if you get dressed up or you look sexy or you look attractive and he's going to take you out to dinner and he looks at you and says something along the lines of, well, why do you got to wear that? Or why do you got to look like that? It's not, wow, babe, you look beautiful. No.
Yeah.
It comes from this weird sideways
Right.
thing.
Right. Or when they say, who's texting you at this time? Why is your phone going off? And who's calling you? And who's this? And why does she want to talk to you this late? And why did this? And why does that? And so initially, like I could even say like initially when I remember I would have to go to the store like to say, I'm giving an example, right? And it was late and it's like, why do you have to go to the store right now? And it's like, well, because I want to buy whatever it is. Maybe I'm doing a project and I need something at that moment. And initially I thought it was cute because I thought he wanted me to be safe and he's concerned.
Yeah.
But in reality, it wasn't really that. It was really...
He knows how easy it is to hook up in a parking lot somewhere.
Right, of course, because that's what he was doing probably. But, and that goes back with the insecurity and like, you're blaming me because 5 fingers are pointing at you, that kind of thing. But initially, I thought, oh, how cute. He really cares about me. He doesn't want me to go to the store this late. And then when you really do the breakdown, it's like, no, he's insecure that, you might find someone or you might meet up with someone or you might be doing something. And you have to really get that breakdown and say, well, what is it? Is it insecurity? Is he really worried about me? What is it?
I had somebody that I really, really, genuinely, really, really liked. And he would come to my office and it was like everybody would be like, oh, he just pulled up, they'd see his car, and it was like a big deal. And he'd come to my office and then I get kind of like, oh, okay. And he ended up asking my assistant who worked at the front desk, and he said to her, so tell me how many guys come and bring her flowers and
oh my gosh.
And she was like, wait, what? Well, not that she would tell anyways, but it wasn't like that at all. And even if it was, by the way, I chose him.
Right.
Like, he was the one I was excited about.
Right.
And like, he was the one that I literally was like, oh my gosh, I might marry this person. Like, you know what I mean?
He gave you the feels.
But his insecure, him doing that, and he did it in a very kind of playful way, but he asked her 3 separate times in 3 separate ways. But then it made me then feel like, well, what type of woman do you think I am? Obviously, and I could have taken it like, well, he thinks I'm so pretty that he thinks all the guys are lining up to whatever. But really it's not. It's like a weird, because that could be turned against you.
Right, it could.
And then when he asked again, I was like, okay, now he's not playing. By the 3rd time, I was like, it's a thing. He's concerned.
He literally is.
And he's coming from an insecure place.
Right. And at that time, at that point, if you're just dating, or if you're married, like if you're married, you're gonna have to squash that somehow. If you're just dating, you have to understand, or you have to kind of get to the bottom of what's triggering this. Why are you being triggered by? If there is someone else that's possibly wanting to court me, if we're not serious and you're not titling me up, why do you care?
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
So, like, for example, I would give anybody advice. In my situation, I was that person's person. He was my person, okay? But I will tell you this. I think that it's something that needs to be addressed pretty early on.
Right.
And you can't be afraid of losing them, because at the end of the day, that's going to rear its ugly head down the road somewhere, somehow.
And you're going to use that silly phrase of, we've already invested all this time.
Oh, gosh.
I have to continue being with this person. Like, it's not going anywhere. And his insecurities are taking a toll in your relationship.
Yeah.
Or her insecurities are taking a toll in the relationship. And the likelihood of you turning that around is going to be unlikely unless you actually can sit down and figure out what it is that is triggering these insecurities in a man or a woman. And if it's not working out in both of each other, or if in the favor of him or her, then you have to kind of just say, okay, well, forget the investment of time. We're going to invest more time and it's going to go nowhere.
And not only the investment of time, but there's a tendency for us women to shrink down to a energy level that is accommodating to his insecurity.
Right.
So there's this thing that happens where now we realize that he's insecure about this. So now we're going to go out of our way to
make sure
he understands
that
he's
you're not
secure.
doing it.
And then you're going to start to operate different and do, oh no, I would never, or oh no, babe, like, first of all, that.
Oh my gosh, because this triggers something. So my very first relationship, you know, I dated him for a very, very long time. It was the whole, I didn't know how to get out of this relationship. And it wasn't necessarily like that I was looking at time as an investment, but it was like, how do I get out of this long-term relationship that I was in? And he was extremely insecure. So the moment that we were, say, at a restaurant, if the server was good looking, if there happened to be, you know, a group of people and maybe they happened to be, there's maybe like 2-3 guys that were kind of good looking. If I looked up and glanced and he caught me and he saw that the guys, because, you know, we're smart and guys are smart. They kind of see like the guy's good looking. But I literally would just glance and that was enough to just like, I know I was going to get it. Like I was going to get it. And you know, that's a really hard place to be, because now I feel like the way that I could describe it, I don't know if you remember, a long time ago there was that Budweiser commercial where the server comes through and he has to put like the blinders on and like horses. Literally like the horses and like not even look up. And talking about what you're saying, you almost don't want to even like instill that in that person to where you're like, I'm not even looking up. Like, I don't know who walked in the door. I don't know who's here. I don't know anything.
Ladies, you need to, if he gives you those signals, do not bow down to that. You need to go, really? You're concerned that these guys are over here? Like, I'm literally sitting with you.
Right.
You need to keep pushing against that current, because the moment you go, it's not worth the fight, I'll just look down. You're going to be looking down for the rest of your life.
And it's what you're saying about you having to put, you know, bow down to their energy in a way.
That's it. And you're going to keep looking down, and you know what he's not going to do? He's not going to look down. Right. He's going to keep looking all around. And I had that experience, but in like, this is going to sound so freaking crazy, and this is a reality in my marriage, was the freeway. He'd be driving, I'd be in the freeway, we're in traffic, I don't know. So what am I doing? I'm just like looking out the window. P.S. Windows are tinted, it's a thing in California, because of the sun. So I'm like looking out, and I'm just looking out. And Delia can attest to this, I can't see very far. I actually say part of why I was still single is because I can't make that eye contact across the room, you know?
Yeah.
I can't send the signals, and so I'm like literally nearsighted. So I just look out, like there's mountains, there's, you know, it's nice.
Right.
Well, what would he do? Why are you looking out the window? This is like right when we're married, like, and it lasted for the whole big old part of our marriage. What are you looking at? And I go, what? I don't know, I'm just looking out. Like, yeah, but why aren't you looking ahead?
Oh.
And then I'm like, oh,
I don't know. I couldn't look out
so
the window.
at first, I was like, yeah, I'm not trying to cause a fight to look to my right. And I'm not like breaking my whole neck all around, you guys. It's just like a slight, just kind of tilted this way. And it was a thing with him because I think he thought like I'm making eye contact with the driver next to us.
Like you happen to have like a business card or something that's like a number.
Yeah,
like, what do you
there
want
wasn't even Instagram back then, and it became a thing. So eventually, I had to be like, he's like, "What are you looking at?" And I go, "Oh no, I'm just looking out the window." Why don't you look? And he would still bring it up, hoping that I would just like bow down. And I've talked about this on another show, but at the end of the day, it took me 5 years to just break free and be like, no, because guess why it bothered him that I looked out the window? Because when I wasn't in the car and he was commuting, he was flirting with people on the freeway because people do that. Right. He was looking at the car next to him.
For sure. I mean,
and the freaking freeway gridlock is a whole ass dating environment for people. Hello. It's a hookup freaking situation. Right. And so guess what? He knew that he could pull up in traffic, look over, make a few whatever he does.
Pull over.
And the girl would be like, oh, and then now they're, you know what I mean? It becomes a whole thing.
Yeah.
And so guess what? He didn't want me looking out the window at all.
Right. And it goes to show, it goes to say without saying the insecurity. It's right there.
But if I would have been like, okay, well, I'm just gonna look down, then guess what he would have done? He would have found 1,000 other reasons for me to look down, 1,000 other scenarios that I had to bow down for.
And that's the thing. You just do not go down to their energy. And at the end of the day, like, if you're just dating someone and you see that they're extremely insecure, the likelihood of those insecurities flourishing is very likely, unless you can nip it in the bud, as they say. Otherwise, you're going to have continuous issues of looking out the window, looking, towards the door when someone walks in, as you should be well aware of what the heck's going on, especially nowadays. Hello. And you know, there's all these things, and then not to mention like how many guys have you been with, and what was, you know,
Oh,
what was
God.
sex like with him, and what was sex like with him. It's like, it's none of your business. I mean, you know,
Yep.
you know, I'll share a little bit, but I don't think that's any of your concern or business. I'm with you.
I think it's just
And
turning
that's
around
what
and
it
say,
boils down to.
yeah, what is it exactly that you're looking to
Find
achieve
out,
with this
no,
conversation?
yeah.
And let's just get to that. Like, what is it about the fact that I'm not a virgin at the age of 40-something that's bothering you? Like, I
Right.
think if you just go right to what it is,
Right.
as women, we don't want to do that because we don't want to ruffle feathers or rattle the cage. But if you do it in a non-confrontational way, they're going to, like, realize that they're being ridiculous.
Right.
And they're going to go, oh, no, I mean, and it's
And then
yeah.
they have to really take into consideration that you had a whole life before them.
That's it.
I mean, on period.
Yeah.
Like, everyone has had a whole life before them, whether you've been married, divorced,
Kid,
single,
whatever.
kids, no kids, whatever it is. You know, you've been through a lot of life experiences, and it
As
just
have they.
And right, and they can't throw that in your face. Like, whatever we're doing right now is all that matters. Whatever happened before shouldn't
That's it.
matter. And you shouldn't lead with insecurity, whether you're a man or a woman. I think you just need to be secure and confident of who you are, and just keep on moving.
And
keep
I think,
on trucking, as
and
they
yeah, and women, you know, you just got to feel comfortable
Right.
pushing back a little and finding those little outs, you know.
Right.
So if he wants to know like your body count, just really go, just turn around, question for a be a politician. They don't answer questions; they answer questions with questions.
Right.
Literally, just be like, well, like, why is that important? Like, what is it about the fact that you have a past or I have a past that's important today
To you.
How is
Right.
that relevant to you and I right
Right.
now? And they're gonna go, oh no, it's fine, whatever. And they're gonna respect you, by the way. They're not gonna disappear. They're not gonna get
Right.
mad. They're gonna actually respect the fact that you did that, because let me tell you, just as men are nosy, women are very nosy,
Yeah,
and
we
they
are.
ask these questions that
We
they
do.
know lead to other questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that energy is toxic, and you need to find a way to just, it is what it is. This is a
Right.
fresh start with a new person.
Right.
And
we
you,
move forward.
You gotta look forward together.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that's all we got, I think, right?
If he asks you, do I have a big penis and it's not big, do you say it is?
I think you should say it's perfect for whatever you're doing with him.
So far, so good, baby.
So far, so good. No complaints. I'm still here, dude. I would say, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
so far, so good.
sometimes, you know, but, you know, I know we're about to end it, but sometimes I think what happens also, though, we're not even talking about this, is that sometimes we hit them below the belt when you're mad, and that's kind of toxic behavior, by the way. And so I think that it always kind of resonates with them within their head, like, well,
Yes.
you know what, you've gotten so fat now, and it's like,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden,
Or
you know what?
Yeah,
Or
short
you
dick,
have
whatever.
a small little penis anyway, and they're like, and forever and ever, that kind of gets to them.
Don't do that, ladies.
So, you know, we didn't discuss that part, but that's another
But you know what?
episode.
No, but it's a good thing, because if he shows insecurity with his penis, or insecurity
With his
with
wig.
you looking out the window, insecurity with you looking across the restaurant,
Right.
whatever, because a hot guy walked in, just ask, who hurt you, boo? You know, you see the memes?
Yeah.
Who hurt you, boo?
Who hurt you?
Who-
Who's
let's
gonna
talk
go
about
get-
that.
yeah.
Let's talk about
well,
who
if
hurt
it was
you.
you that was saying some negative things,
I'm
then you guys
not
got
toxic.
I'm not saying
I'm
you.
what?
I'm not saying you per se, but I'm just saying, like, if you guys got into a big argument, all of a sudden you hit him below the belt, like,
Hey,
all right,
You're
Santa-
gonna pay the price for that.
right? It's like August, and you're like, shut up, Santa's little helper, because he's short.
Yes,
You know
oh
what I
my
mean?
God.
So now, guess what? He's obviously knowing he's short, but now you hit him right below the belt to be like, shut up, Santa's little helper.
Remember, we've said it before, season 1. we say words. We use words, and men make decisions based on our words. So be
Always.
very, very careful.
Always be
But if he's
careful.
coming at you and you didn't earn that, then you just gotta be like, who hurt you, boo? That's it.
Who hurt you? Who hurt you, Boo Boo Bear?
Oh, who hurt you,
All right,
boo?
so that's all we got for
All right.
today.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to look at the show notes. We might have some cool links for you, as well as merch and all the fun stuff. Don't forget that you deserve fresh water.
Salud. Cheers.
Cheers.